Welcome back to Forgotten Hollywood. It has been 75 years since this particular shoe became a symbol of magic and dreams. And while there have been countless versions of Cinderella over the years, many from long before Walt Disney got started, his version has become a sort of gold standard for the story. And that's very lucky for the Disney company, because the 1940s were not an easy time for them. As I'm sure you know, there was a major war going on, and 45% of Disney's normal revenue came from Europe. Disney was already having difficulties when America entered the war. One of the main focuses of the Disney company at the time was to make films for the government, including propaganda films, like Victory Through Air Power, which made $11,000 over budget. So this was not a very profitable time for Walt Disney. And after the war ended, of course, he's trying to get back into things, trying to make movies to bring in revenue. And he was able to bring in some. He was able to have some moderate success, but not as much as he really needed to pull him out of that wartime period. And by the time he was working on Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which was released in late 1949, rumors were swirling that he was going to have to sell his company for financial reasons. Then came early 1950 with the release of Cinderella. Walt was saved. This movie doubled its budget in rentals. I did a whole video on rentals versus box office, so I'm not going to rehash how that all works here, but that is a very significant number for the time. And there's a lot of reasons why this particular movie was the biggest hit since Snow White. And it goes back to human nature. We love to see the underdog make it. We love to see rags to riches stories. We love to see the bad guy knock down a peg. All of that's in this. So it makes it very relatable. One of the reasons I decided to do this video was because I was watching a lot of videos that would talk about Cinderella, or it would be the first time somebody was watching this Cinderella. Hard to believe. But there were a lot of people that had not seen this movie for whatever reason. I thought it was like a rite of passage for childhood. I guess not. But a lot of people were surprised by the movie and the way that it was done, because people have these images in their mind of what the 1950s were like. And Cinderella came out in 1950, so it had to be in this certain way, and Cinderella had to have been this certain way, and she had to have been just this meek damsel in distress that was totally flat, and no. That's not this Cinderella. I don't know what Cinderella you're thinking of. I don't know what version you're thinking of. I don't remember any version of Cinderella that matches that description. This Cinderella was feisty. This Cinderella was tough. And I mean, yeah, she would back down when she was faced with her stepmother because her stepmother had power over her. But there's a scene in the movie where the cat has sabotaged one of her cleaning projects, and she goes after him with a broom, which honestly is what I would have done too in that situation. She is brave. She is kind. She is compassionate. One person reacting to the movie asked, like, where do all those clothes come from that the mice are wearing? She made them. She made them all. It actually shows her in the movie where she's like, oh, there's a new mouse. Opens up her drawer. Pulls out some clothes.
Where? In the trap? Why didn't you say so?
She does all this. She takes care of everything around her. From the smallest animal to the evil witch that she works for. Well, stepmother, not a witch, but is there really much of a difference when it comes to Lady Tremaine? Who, interestingly, was voiced by the same actress who voiced Maleficent. Not a coincidence. Cinderella, she has a mind of her own. She has hopes. She has dreams. She yells at the clock for waking her up. A lot of people related to that.
I hear you. Come on, get up, you say. Time to start another day.
I don't understand why people call her flat. Also that she enjoys cleaning. Why would you think she enjoys cleaning? Because she does it? Does that mean everyone who works an office job loves their office job? No. It means they have to do it. So they do it. Because she has a good work ethic. The other thing is that people seem to think that she danced with the prince, fell in love with him from the dance, and then they never spoke and fell in love magically, I guess. And then she took off and he pursued her because he was madly in love with her. Why do you think they never talked? Did you see how many hours she was there? She got to the ball. She left at midnight. She spent the entire time with the prince. And you think she didn't talk to him? Okay, I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they have never watched any movies or read any books that involved dancing. But dancing, back in the day, was an acceptable way of courting someone. You would go to a dance and you would dance with a person you liked, because that way you could get close, you could talk to each other privately, get to know each other, but still be in full view of the room, so no one thought you were doing anything wrong. It's a way of being alone while being in plain sight. And so people would dance together so they could have private conversations. Pride and Prejudice. There's a conversation between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy while they're dancing where she comments on something and she tells him, now you should comment on either this topic or this topic. And now that you have commented on it, we can dance in silence because we have fulfilled the social obligation of having a conversation. It was expected to talk to each other during a dance. This is something that happened. People would dance to get to know each other. Cinderella and the prince had plenty of time to get to know each other. And also, if you watch the movie, it shows them walking through the garden, visiting the fountain, crossing the bridge. And people think they did this silently because it didn't show their dialogue. Just because you didn't hear the conversation doesn't mean a conversation didn't happen. Is that quick for a relationship? Yeah, it is. But it also plays on the love at first sight angle. The prince saw her and immediately knew. And that actually says that in the movie where the Grand Duke is narrating their first encounter, where he is speculating what will happen as it's playing out and the king is watching it happen. Like with the dancing montage, it tells you what's happening without you having to know every word that is spoken. On the note of the king, one of the things I really like about this version is the king's motivation. Most of the versions are, you are the heir to the throne, you must marry, produce an heir so that the dynasty is secure.
All your mother and I want is for you to be happy.
Happiness has nothing to do with it. I mean, of course we want you to be happy, but you do have certain obligations.
What your mother's trying to say is, we think it's time you chose a bride and produced an heir.
Someday soon, this entire kingdom will be yours.
Not that soon.
Kings were very worried about their dynasty, and they wanted their heirs to have heirs before they were gone, so that they could have the peace of mind that the kingdom was going to be okay. However, this king's motivation was different. He wanted to be a grandpa, and he was dreaming about having grandchildren. Literally, there's a dream sequence where he's playing with his grandchildren. It allows for him to be okay with a commoner, like Cinderella, because all he wants is a grandchild. He doesn't care about her social status. He doesn't care about her bloodlines. He doesn't care about anything else. All he wants is for his son to get married and have kids so he can play with them. That's his entire motivation.
I can't understand it. There must be at least one who'd make a suitable mother. Son. A suitable wife.
Also, one thing that surprised a lot of people watching it was that they addressed the fact that the slipper might fit more than one person.
But sire, this slipper may fit any number of girls.
That's his problem. He's given his word,
We'll hold him to it.
No,
I don't care who it is. He said it. We're gonna hold him to it. I'm gonna get my grandkids. I have a theory as to why the slipper only fits Cinderella. It's magic. No matter what size foot goes into it, if it's not Cinderella's, it will be too big or too small. It's not that her feet are this big. It's that they just won't fit any other foot. At least that's my theory. Feel free to tell me your own theories as to why the slipper only fits Cinderella in the comments. In summary, the 1950s Cinderella is it's a timeless story. It's a classic story. Basically, everyone can relate to it on some level or another. You don't get to see so much of the prince himself in that version. He shows up more in the sequels, not that I highly recommend them. But the characters that you do see, Cinderella, the stepmother, the king, the Grand Duke, they all make sense. In the context of the story, in the context of the world, it all works. It's just this magical event to watch Cinderella. And it's just something that's get passed on from generation to generation for 75 years. And it's still going strong. It remains one of the most popular movies in Disney's library. And I don't think that's going to change. Thanks for watching. What's your favorite version of Cinderella? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, and I will catch up with you next time.